Ready? Set? Adventure! Welcome to Hikanuki World Tour and day 2 of our 48 hours in Lucca. Today we'll climb to the top of Guinigi Tower, have a delicious lunch al fresco, bike around the ancient walls of Lucca, and have an incredible dinner at Lucca's #1 rated restaurant. Buongiorno! It's our second day in Lucca, and we started the day at our hotel's complimentary breakfast buffet. Today we're planning to climb to the top of Guinigi Tower and do some bike riding, so we better fuel up. We're on our own today without any tours, so we took a cab to the city. It's about a 15-minute drive and marks the first time we haven't had a hotel within walking distance. We had an organized tour yesterday, so we're pretty familiar with the city. I'll leave a link to that video below. Our first stop is at Canaparoli. They have bakery items, chocolates, gelato, and coffee. The shop is clean and well maintained. Since we had just eaten, we were really here more to browse. But we couldn't resist the truffles and did get a box to go. As expected, they were rather pricey. They also had a large selection of biscotti. The streets were busy today with tour groups. But it's a slow pace of life in Lucca. We checked out a few souvenir shops on our way to the Guinigi Tower. We stopped at the Pharmacia. This isn't a place for aspirin and band-aids. Instead, it's a pastry shop. We stopped in and ordered an espresso. When visiting Italy, you should know that Italians rarely order cappuccino after 11 a.m. Instead, opt for an espresso or cafe macchiato. After that little pick-me-up, we were ready to continue exploring. Our walk takes us to the Church of San Giusto. It was built in the second half of the 12th century over a pre-existing religious site. The interior was restructured in the 17th century and has a mostly Baroque feel. The streets within the city walls are narrow, cobblestoned, and sometimes maze-like. This fruit is actually made of marble. And now our first challenge of the day, climbing to the top of Guinigi Tower. In the late 14th century, wealthy families in Lucca built towers alongside their residences. These were status symbols, with the wealthiest family having the tallest towers. At that time, there were over 200 house towers, and now only 9 remain. Paolo Guinigi became Lord of Lucca and was comparable in status and ambition to the Medici family of Florence. Climb the 230 steps to the top of the tower. You will need a ticket to visit. We didn't book tickets in advance and did not have a problem getting one. The line seemed long, but it moved very quickly. A single ticket to climb the tower was €8, or you can combine it with other attractions. It looks like this little guy is having second thoughts. Follow the signs to the tower and pass through the courtyard, where of course you'll find artwork and sculptures. And it's another beautiful day in Tuscany. It's bright and clear and we should be able to see a lot. The stairs at the beginning of the climb are quite easy to navigate. There are various lookout points as you climb to the top, as well as historic photos. Stop and admire your progress, but don't look too long or you might get dizzy. You're almost to the top, so just keep going. And one more lookout point before the big reveal. The final section of the climb is a little more tricky. The anticipation builds as we near the top. The stairs narrow, so we must be getting close. And now daylight is upon us. And we emerge at the top of the tower. At the top, you'll be rewarded with breathtaking 360-degree views of the walled city and the surrounding countryside. And of course, you'll get an up-close look at the outstanding holm oak trees. We approach the railing for a better look at the city. From here we can see the terracotta rooftops and mountain ranges on the horizon. The trees were said to be planted by the Guinigis to represent rebirth and renewal. The views are spectacular and the climb wasn't too strenuous, so if you're up for it, definitely do it. This is one of the few towers in Italy with a rooftop garden, so it's definitely a unique experience. And even with other tourists around, it gives you a feeling of serenity. The Guinigi family was one of the most powerful and influential in medieval and Renaissance Lucca. Now let's enjoy views from the tower. We enjoyed our time on the rooftop, but now it's time to head back downstairs. Is this the original Tower Record Store? Renting a bike is a perfect way to see the walls. The path is wide and free of vehicular traffic, so it's a safe and fun way to experience the walls. Stay tuned, we'll be coming back later to rent one of the Surrey bikes. But now we're passing through one of the gates to see life outside of the walls. It's a busy early Friday afternoon, both inside and outside the walled city. There are many large gates into the city of Lucca, as well as many smaller entrances and tunnels. This is San Gervasio's gate. It dates from the 13th century. It was one of the doors to the old city walls of Lucca. It was demolished and rebuilt when the Renaissance walls were constructed. Today, the two towers are private residences. Back inside the city center, it was time to find some lunch. So many places to choose from, but we chose this outdoor cafe located on the lovely Anfiteatro Piazza. It was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and the piazza was buzzing. We checked out the menu and found a place to sit. It's hard to pass up a €5 Aperol Spritz. In general, I think that we found the food and drink in Tuscany to be much cheaper than that in Rome. Now it was time to relax, do some people watching, and maybe have a beer. We did a little bird watching too. We found it to be bearifico. We looked at the menu and placed our orders. This was the handmade ravioli stuffed with ricotta and spinach and topped with fresh tomato sauce and cheese. This was a sandwich made with focaccia bread with ham and cheese. Everything just tastes better when sitting outside in a Tuscan village. This was a salami and cheese focaccia. And you can't beat the Italian bread and fresh olive oil. And these were some of the best gnocchi I've ever had, served in a gorgonzola cream sauce and topped with walnuts. Honestly, I'd go back to Lucca just to have this dish. The dogs of Lucca are just as friendly as the people. Out on the piazza, it looks like wedding time. Photographs are being taken, although I don't see the bride yet. It's a hot day, but it looks like the misters are giving a little refreshment to the groomsmen. We're finished with lunch, so now it's time to walk over and find the bike rental place. We're a group of 8, so we'll take 2 of the 4-person Surrey bikes. Rentals are for 1 hour or 3 hours. Price depends on which bike you choose. This is a popular activity, and we were a bit surprised by the number of people waiting for a bike. We chose 2 of the pedal-assisted 4-person bikes for 1 hour. We got our bike and headed for the hills, so to speak. Actually, the path on the walls is quite flat, but to get there you do have to go up a ramp. It took a few minutes to get everyone coordinated with pedaling, but we got the hang of it pretty quickly and we're off. We're heading for the broad track atop the walls. The walls around Lucca were built for protection. The historic walls were built between the mid-1600s and 1800s and are still intact today. Their circumference is 4 kilometers and 223 meters, or about 2.5 miles, and are the second largest intact example of a fully walled Renaissance city. Now you can run, walk, or cycle atop the walls. Stop along the way for a drink and a snack. Walkways are wide and flat and perfect for pedestrians and cyclists alike. The walls were transformed into the park and promenade in the 1820s. As you can see, they are a very popular place to be, and a little competition can be in order. Take in the scenery and stop for photos as often as you like, and greet your fellow cyclists along the way. This was a really fun and inexpensive way to spend a day, especially on such a beautiful afternoon. It gives a whole new perspective of Lucca. It was a warm day, so we stopped for a drink of water and to catch our breath. Scenery was beautiful, and we decided to go around one more time. Perhaps a little slower this time around. We saw a statue of the first king of the United Italy. It looks like training time for the Italian bobsled team. We're picking up speed. Maybe we should slow down for a hot dog. Look, Ma, no hands. No one likes a show-off. Our time was almost up, so we headed back to the bike shop. After the bike ride, we sent my husband on a mission to find a place for dinner. Because we were in a group of 8, it took a little pre-planning to find enough space for all of us. This restaurant was highly rated, so we stopped in to see if there was any availability. With all that wine, it looked like our kind of a place, but unfortunately, there was no availability. But while he was there, as luck would have it, the large party scheduled to dine downstairs in the wine cellar canceled, and we were invited to take their spot. He came back to tell us the good news, and on the way found this wine bar.
Hi, Cootie.
The proprietor was another friendly Luccasan and offered to take him on a tour of his private wine cellar. It was a treasure trove of vintage wines, scotch, brandies, gin, and just about anything you might like. Without a doubt, the people of Lucca are friendly and treat you like family, and are another reason why we recommend stopping in Lucca on a visit to Tuscany. Let's look at some of his amazing collection. Back outside, it was time to relax. When you order a drink, it's almost always served with some type of snack. Often, they serve the taralini. These are crunchy, cracker-like biscuits. We stepped inside the shop to pick up some taralini to take home with us. We were very happy we came across this wine shop. We enjoyed it very much and highly recommend. And now it's on to dinner. TripAdvisor rated this restaurant #1 in Lucca. As I mentioned, the restaurant was fully booked, but they were able to accommodate us in the private wine cellar, which we thought was a pretty amazing place to be. We were greeted and ushered down to the wine cellar. Our host shared fascinating stories and recommendations on wine. We knew we were in for a memorable experience. Here, as in many Italian restaurants, Americans will be pleasantly surprised at how reasonable wine prices are. Of course, the selection here is vast, so you might need some help. In addition to the wine, the menu also offered a wide selection of Italian specialties. Our delicious homemade bread was served in a bag alongside olive oil right from Lucca. Our first bottle of wine was a red blend including Sangiovese grapes. The intimate atmosphere made us feel like we were being entertained at someone's home. The wine was smooth and delicious, and now it was time for our entrees. The tomato-filled ravioli was served on a burrata cream sauce. This was the special for the evening. It was beef served with peppers, olives, and topped with almonds. The beef fillet was served with oven potatoes and truffle mayonnaise and cooked perfectly at medium. This is the pistachio-crusted veal, served with marinated vegetables and topped with caramelized onion. The veal was tender and juicy, cooked to perfection, and probably the best entree of the evening. After dinner, we were treated to a meloncello. It was cantaloupe flavored. And for dessert, we had the semifreddo, which was frozen pistachio, and also the tiramisu. From the setting, to the wine, to the meal, this was definitely a home run. It was getting late and time to head back to our hotel. It was another beautiful evening, so when we returned to the hotel, we decided to sit outside for a nightcap. The Hotel San Michele has a small bar and a place to sit outdoors. We were joined by a couple from the UK and their dog, George.
Oh, that's a good video, George.
Ready, and
That's a good video, George.
We enjoyed our time in Lucca. We found it to be a charming, calm, relaxing place with hospitable people, delicious food and wine, and are glad this was a stop on our Tuscan wine trail tour. Thanks for joining us at Guinigi World Tour on day 2 of our 48 hours in Lucca. Our travel wisdom for the day comes from Leonardo da Vinci. Tuscany is the ultimate canvas, painted with the hues of history and culture. Be sure to subscribe to Guinigi World Tour. If you liked the video, click that like button, and we'd love it if you'd leave us a comment. Please subscribe to Guinigi World Tour, as it really helps our channel grow. Hit that notification button so you'll know when our next video is dropped. And follow us on Instagram. We really appreciate your support.